guys, I hope you're doing amazing. Today I'm going to talk about 10 palettes that have a very summery color story, and I'm excited to whip them out and use them this season. If you're excited like me, give this video a thumbs up and let's get started. I tried not to repeat any brands for this video, and I tried to pick the palettes that I'm most excited about and I thought have the most exciting color story. Our first one is Butterfly Kaleidoscope from Micka Beauty Shop. I received this palette after summer was over last year, and I mean, look at it. Isn't this the most summery color story? I can't put this in any other season. It doesn't even go in spring. So I'm so excited to have it now, bring it out and start using it. Our next one is obviously Dragon Fruit, which is another one of those extremely summery color stories. Now this palette is an all shimmer palette, and you all know I don't do all shimmer. So if I use this, I'm probably gonna use one of Blend Bunny's palettes to complement. We are gonna get to one of the ones from Blend Bunny that I'm excited to bring out this summer and use, but this palette's color story is also super summery, so definitely needed to put it here. We all know that the brand started offering packaging in cardboard, and I'm so excited about that because we no longer have to deal with that hefty, bulky, gigantic plastic packaging that this palette used to have before. Our third palette is Palette Topoli from Ace Beauté. I know Ace Beauté is rebranding. I don't know a whole lot about it. If you do, enlighten the rest of us in the comments, please. But this is one of their most summery palettes, and I'm hoping they're not getting rid of it because it's a very interesting color story. And I think this is great for the summer because it has a nice combination of warm tones, both neutrals and olives, as well as a lot of cool tones that actually go very well with my skin color. So, you know, all the purples and blues and pinks are my kind of colors. Yeah, I definitely don't think I've used this palette enough, and I'm looking forward to bring it out and use it this summer. Before we get to the fourth palette, beauties, if you all have been following me, you know that I am on a gigantic no buy this year. So you're not going to see a lot of palettes here that released this year or that are very new. And the purpose of this video is to incentivize you to bring out these kinds of palettes that you might have in the back of your collection that you might have forgotten about, and start using them. Let's use and prioritize the palettes that we already have, that we've already spent money on, before buying new palettes. Let's also talk about this one because I'm excited to go back into this summer. For me, pastels kind of bring out the summer, although I generally feel like they're not my kind of colors. When summer comes, I'm always thinking about using pastels, so I'm looking forward to using this palette. I also recently used this palette in one of my to buy or not to buys, and I also have a review of this palette in this channel if you're curious. But very nice color story for this time of the year, and I'm so looking forward to using this palette again. The other day I was looking through my collection and I found this palette, Warriors Wear Pink, that released last year as a collaboration between Gourmand Girls and Syria Soto. This color story is very summer to me. It's also a little Valentine. I have used it quite a few times. I even reviewed it in this channel, but I definitely think it's a palette that can be loved a little more, particularly during this time of the year. These kinds of colors for me are very summery and great for making beautiful, colorful looks this time of the year. Now talking about Blend Bunny and pastel colors, I can't wait to use this one a little more this summer. Blend Bunny's beautiful Sickly Sweet palette has all kinds of gorgeous pastels, very pigmented pastels in it, and is also one of those palettes that I don't think I've given it enough love. This came out during winter, and as I mentioned, pastels kind of tell me summer, although there are a lot of blues and cool tone colors in here which are kind of wintry. But yeah, this palette is definitely something that I think I can use in the summer and give it some more love than I already have. We are at palette number 7, and I do have a little bit of a surprise for you with the last palette. But our 7th palette is a little bit newer than everything else, but I still think it released last year, and it is Dieverune's Moth and the Moon palette. I mean, this palette is so colorful, and I love using this kind of a color story in the summer, particularly the orange, even the orangey multichrome, the peach. Yeah, definitely something I want to use more this summer. One of the palettes that released last year that to me was the epitome of a summery palette was Citrus Punch. I mean, look at this color story. Could this be any other season? And I can't wait to bring it out and use it because frankly, I have not used this palette since I reviewed it for you all. And I think the reason is because this is really just a summery palette. I can't imagine using this any other time of year. So definitely can't wait to begin using this again and showing it some love. Palette number 9 is an oldie but a goodie. This palette is actually a palette for all season. I just thought to myself, I've used a lot of other palettes from this brand in the past 6 months, and I haven't given this palette enough love, but the color story is kind of a summery color story. It's a very good color story for this time of the year, and that is no other than Adept's collab with Heather Austin. You have a lot of warm tones in this palette, as well as some beautiful colorful multichromes like the purpley blue, this pink at the top here. Yeah, a lot of gorgeous, gorgeous shades in this palette. And I want to use it more. I've traveled with this palette. I know a lot of you have been telling me that some of my palettes look a little bit untouched, and I can guarantee you I've traveled with this palette. It's gotten a lot of love. But hey, I have a lot of makeup. There is always more opportunity to give these older palettes some more love. And our last, but definitely not least palette is a palette that has discontinued, but evidently it's coming back. Yeah, and that's the surprise. It is Nocturnal from Glaminatrix. And you all might tell me, girl, this is not really a summery palette. But I kind of want to use it this summer because I feel like the minute fall kicks, we're going to get all new fall themed palette, and I might completely forget that this palette existed. I think this palette is a great palette for not just the fall, except for this matte black, of course. You do have some gorgeous, gorgeous shades in this palette, a lot of warm tones, as well as some beautiful, colorful, multichromy kind of shades. Both this pink at the end and this one at the top are so beautiful, and I can't wait to use them. Even this one, so nice. Yeah, I feel like I haven't used this palette very much recently, and I honestly can't wait to use it this summer. Also, Glaminatrix has mentioned that they're going to re-release a small batch of this palette for whoever is still interested in picking it up. It's going to have some modifications and evidently even a better formula than the one the rest of us have. So if you want it, definitely check out their Instagram for more information. And with that, we come to the end of this video, beauties. Let me know in the comments below what palettes you are excited to use this summer. I love you all. Have an amazing day. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you watched it this far. And until next time, bye.